Welcome to class, and we're going to be focusing on how to prevent sciatica problems this morning. If you have a block, it'll be helpful. It's not absolutely necessary. And let's get started. Just muted everybody. So find a comfortable seat on your mat. And if you want to sit on your block, you can. You don't have to. And we'll start with the centering. So if you're on a block, you're already opening your hips a little bit more because sciatica pain is caused by a pinching of the nerve, often at that hip joint. Close your eyes if you like, or look downcast. Take a few slow, easy breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, with the intention of letting go of any surface tension. And let the practice go. Notice how you feel. Perhaps your breath is already slower and deeper. Mentally scan your body and send that breath to any place that feels tight or tense. And exhale the tension away. Where attention goes, energy flows. So today we're going to bring our attention into our hip joints, helping to open up the hip joints so that we're not putting pressure on the sciatic nerve, which runs from the base of the spine all the way down the leg and into the foot. It may be the longest nerve in your body. I'm not sure of that. That's what someone said, but I didn't compare that to the vagus nerve, which we'll do another time soon, which probably is the longest nerve in your body. Anyway, let's do some general warm-ups before we get to our focus for today. Let's just start by stretching up tall, relaxing the shoulders, drawing the belly and the pelvic floor up, and pointing the tailbone down. Let's rotate the head. And back to center. Let's lower the ear to one side and other. And back to center. Let's lower the chin and make a little wave on your chest. And back to center. Let's lift the chin and stretch up. And lower the chin. Inhale up. And down. Come back to center. Bring one hand to your shoulder. Bring your ear to the opposite shoulder. And bring your head back and forth over your shoulder. And come back up and change sides. Anchor your shoulder, bring your ear to your opposite shoulder, and gently move the head back and forth across the shoulder. And come back to center. Let's squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale. And let's circle one shoulder and then the other. And let's reverse those circles. Let's cross elbows and we'll do some choo-choo trains. And reverse hands and choo-choo train the other way. And bring the elbows to one side and the head to the other. And come back to center and change sides. Back to center, slide to your hands. We're going to interlace the hands and then we'll just wring those hands and wrists. So I said interlace, but we're cupping actually the hands. Just rolling those wrists around. This is warming up your hands, Susan. And let's cup the hands the other way, hooking the fingers and working those wrists. And let's stretch the arms out and we'll squeeze and spread the fingers. And then let's claw the air, curling those fingers in, bending the elbows a little bit as well. And then just shake it out. You know, we love to shake and move the energy in the body. Whew. Increase the circulation, move the lymph, and wake ourselves up. Okay, let's just stop and feel the tingling as the body wakes up. I'm going to take the block out, my side stretches, bringing one hand to the floor, the other hand to your ear. Let's stretch over. And roll your head and look up if that works for you. Inhale back to center. Bring the other arm alongside your ear. Let's stretch over. Rotate the head. Pressing the hips down and reaching the rib cage away from your hips. And back to center. Come to an easy spinal twist. And back to center and an easy spinal twist the other way. And back to center. Just take that in. And we'll stretch out the legs. And we'll just do some Savasana, moving back and forth. Again, we're moving energy in our lower body here. And just take a moment to feel how that has enlivened you this morning. And then we'll circle the ankles. Circle back the other way. And windshield wiper the legs. And then just move those knees up and down. And come to stillness. We're going to do a new routine that's based on table pose. You might want to see this one first. Okay, so after we've done our cat and dog and warmed up our spine, we're going to come into gate pose, but we're not going to switch on the mat. We'll just stay here. And inhale out to one side in gate pose. And then come back into the other side in gate pose. But then we're going to come back to table. And we're going to twist with this leg out, but not twisting towards this leg, which you've done before, but we're going to twist away from that leg. So here's where you might need your block. Still, whatever height you need to get your head comfortable. Okay. Hope that makes sense. We'll come back to that. So have your block handy if you're going to need it. And let's start with some table warm-ups. Come back to center. Let's stretch the right leg out and cross it over and then press towards your foot. So we're already opening that hip joint, starting our sciatica practice here. And back to center. And stretch the other leg out, pressing the toes into the floor, crossing over, and then pressing towards your foot. Feel the stretch in the outside of the hip or the bottom of the hip there. So did you know that the biggest cause of sciatica problems is sitting? And all of us sit way too much. So even doing just a few of these exercises every day can help open up those joints and reduce inflammation in your hip. Come back to center. Okay, here we go. Let's take the right leg and send it out to the side. And then pick up your right arm and we'll come into a nice little back bend here. Bring your hand to your leg and inhale up and slide down your leg. So just in gate pose, just oriented towards the short end of your mat. Bring your hand down to the floor and open the other way. Again, you feel that lovely opening right there in the hip. Walk yourself back to table, keeping your leg where it is. Grab your block if you're going to need it under your head, you'll find out. And inhale up, big stretch up. And then slide through into a spinal twist. And if you need the block under your head, use that for support, pressing into the foot and opening the hip. And we'll inhale back up, big open stretch. And come back to center. And bring that leg in. Wow, you feel that opening that hip? That's lovely. If you need to do a little waggle. And I'm going to turn the other way. And we'll do that again. Okay, so sending your left leg out at a right angle. Inhale your left arm up, nice big stretch up. Bring that hand to your leg to help you come back up, and then slide down the leg into a gate pose. Inhale back the other way. Pressing your foot down into the mat or the floor here. Walk yourself back around so that you're in table. And then we'll open up towards the leg that's out and then slide through into a spinal twist. Inhale back up and come back into table. And do a little wiggle waggle if you like. Okay, let's switch over and stretch out our legs. We're going to be doing a lot of variations of pigeon pose today. Okay, so the first one, we're going to start lying down. Actually, I don't want to do that one right now because we'll do lying down later. Let's do seated one. Here we go. So we're going to bring the leg in, doing Shasana first. Inhale tall and exhale over. So we're already opening that hip joint. Inhale up, and if it's possible for you, you'll either do another Shasana or pick your heel up and put it right in front of your knee. So this will look familiar. It's also called figure 4. And you can put the block under your knee, wherever you need it. Inhale tall. And if you can, with a straight spine, you can begin to come forward. This also seems to hurt this muscle. So I've got to find a place where it's not going to be pressing into the tendon there and hurting it. Got to figure out where that heel is going to go. But you've got the knee supported on that block as you come forward into your figure 4. So again, you're working on opening that hip, releasing tension, reducing inflammation. Just breathing into the hip joints. If the hip starts to open more, you can lower your block. And just watch out what's happening with that muscle underneath your other foot. Inhale up and stretch that leg out. Wow, feel the difference? Let's try the other side. Bring the other heel in, starting with Shasana. Toes up, long spine, surrender over the leg. You want to see the sideways this time? Inhale up. So if you need to do a second Janu Shirshasana, go ahead. But if you can, picking up this foot and placing it above your knee, and then again, finding a way that it's not pressing into that thigh muscle and causing excruciating pain. And then supporting the knee here with the block. Inhale up and exhale if you can. Come forward with this nice straight spine first. And then eventually stretching over. So that might just be my problem, but I find that I tighten the thigh muscle of the straight leg, causing pain. If you can relax that thigh muscle, it'll work for you much better. And again, as you feel the hip open, if you want to lower your block. Inhale back up. Stretch that leg out. Notice how you feel. We'll come into an easy spinal twist, picking the right leg up, crossing it over, hugging that leg. Bring your left hand to the floor or your block and twist. Again, we're pulling against the outside of the bent leg. Inhale back to center, and we'll change sides. Opposite foot in, giving it a hug, and to the floor. Inhale tall, exhale, hug the leg in, stretching that side of the hip. Inhale back around and surrender over. Going to bring the soles of the feet together, but instead of bringing the heels in close, make about a diamond shape so that your thigh and your shin are about parallel. So the legs are further away from your body than usual. Inhale tall. Exhale, lengthen first with a straight back for as long as you can, pressing the elbows into the knees, and then begin to round over. Or if you're going past your elbows, past your knees, your arms are pressing into your knees. Inhale back up. And we'll come to standing. Let's start with a forward fold. And if you can get your hands to the floor in a forward fold, great. If not, take your block. And wherever you need to use your block today. Let's roll up Come to standing. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale tall. Stretch to one side. Come back to center and stretch the other way. Inhale up if you can. Bring your left foot in front of your right or keep your legs parallel. Spinal twist. Come back to center. Change sides if you're crossing legs, twisting towards the leg that's in front. And back to center. And down. So again, I'm going to demonstrate the next one. It's a forward fold, so you won't be able to see me while you're doing it. So have a look. I'm going to come down with slightly bent legs. And again, if you can't reach your hands to the floor, use your block. I won't use the block because that'll block what I'm doing. Okay, we're going to straighten the right leg and walk the hands to the left in a diagonal, pressing the right hip back. You'll feel an intense stretch in the back of your leg and we're breathing into that hip crease. So again, if you need to, you can have your hands on your block here. If you want to continue to make the stretch deeper, you can walk around further, twisting around more. So this leg is bent, this leg is straight. You're pressing back into the hip crease even as you twist. I'm going to, from here, let's go back to here, because I left that one piece, but I wanted to get one piece at a time. Walked around to the side, going to roll onto the outside of that foot. Press the hip crease back. Bow towards your left knee. Again, you can continue walking around. And then coming back to center, straightening the foot on the floor and rolling up. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, here we go. Grab your block if you need it. Gonna roll down, slightly bent knees. So you're going to straighten your right leg, keeping the left knee bent. Walk your hands around to the left on the diagonal. And you can be using your block if you prefer. Pressing your right hip crease back, straightening that leg. And it's rolling onto the outside of the right leg. Pressing the right hip back. Lengthening the outside of the right leg. And come down and bend towards your bent left knee. You can walk around some more. Deep breath into the hip crease. You put your foot back on the floor, come back to center, forward fold. Bring your hands to your thighs and roll up. That was intense. Let's take a nice deep breath. Inhale up. Stretch to one side. Inhale back to center, stretch the other way. Notice if there's a difference in the two hips. Come back to center, cross the right leg over and spinal twist. Come back to center, cross the left leg over, spinal twist. Come back to center, uncross, and we'll do the other side. Okay, so feet hip width apart, roll down, have your block handy if you like. So this time we're going to walk around to the right. So we're going to straighten the right leg, correct? It's kind of hard for me to do it backwards. Straightening the left leg, sorry, straightening the left leg, walking around to the right. Rolling onto the outside of the left leg. So the left leg is straight, you're pressing the hip crease back, keeping your right knee bent and bowing towards that knee. Again, you can have your hands on your block if you can't reach the floor. Walk around a little further. Keep pressing your left hip crease back. Place the foot on the floor, inhale back to center, roll up. Inhale tall, stretch to one side, stretch back, stretch the other way, stretch forward, inhale tall, and down. All right. We are going to try a balancing pose using figure 4 or pigeon. So if you need a wall to hold on to, please go find a wall. So we're going to bend both knees just a little bit again. Shift the weight over to the left foot. Flex your right foot and cross it over. Bring your hands to your heart. Lean forward just a little bit. So your standing leg is slightly bent. This knee is reaching towards the floor, opening that hip joint. And you're slightly forward to press your hips back. Having fun yet? And inhale up, release. Whew, shake it out if you need to. Find Tadasana. Bend the knees slightly, shift the weight, pick up the other heel, flex your foot and cross it over just above your knee. Bring your hands to your heart, press your hips back, think chair pose. You can press that knee down. Keep reaching back through your hip creases. You're leaning forward a little bit, but you're not rounding. The chest is lifted. Again, chair pose would have been a good prep for this. And release. Good job, everybody. Shake it out. Okay, let's roll back down onto the floor. Have anything on our bellies? I don't think so. So we're lying on our backs. We'll get to our bellies in a minute, but we'll do one pose on our back first. So again, it's a variation of reclining pigeon. So let's bend the knees, bring the feet flat on the floor, but instead of having your heels so close to your buttocks, step your left leg out so it's making kind of a equidistant. Well, it'll always be equidistant with it. So that, how do I explain that? You're about instead of being, you're halfway between straight and all the way in. Okay, how's that? That would be a good explanation. And then crossing your other foot over. So it's a variation of pigeon, reclining pigeon that you're used to. We're going to press into the foot that's on the floor as we press the knee away with our hand. My notes here. All right, that's basically the difference is we're really focusing on pressing the foot into the floor, pressing the knee away. Sometimes we put our foot in the air, not today. And then you can begin to walk that foot in closer if that works for you. Still pressing the knee away, pressing the foot into the floor, and pressing your sacrum into the floor. And make sure you're pressing down. Don't let your sacrum lock up. Press it down into the floor. And again, if you want to move that foot in closer, press the knee away, press the sacrum down. You can use the belly too to press your lower back into the floor. Don't let it rock up. And then you can move your foot in closer, pressing the knee away, press the sacrum into the floor. Breathe into the hip crease. Press that foot down, press the sacrum down, press the knee away. The three parts of this asana. And you can bring that foot in closer if you want. Press the foot into the floor, press the sacrum and the hip down, press the knee away. And let's change size. So again, stretch the legs out. Walk them in halfway. Cross your opposite foot over. Float the knee away. Press the foot into the floor. Press the sacrum into the floor. Press the knee away. Don't let the tailbone lock up. Use the belly to help you press your sacrum down. If you like, walk your foot in a little closer, press the knee away, press the sacrum into the floor. Walk the foot in closer if you like. Press the foot into the floor. Press the knee away. Press the sacrum into the floor. Breathe into the hip creases. And release. And if you like, a little windshield wiper relax. And let's come over to the bottom of our mats into child pose. And take a few breaths here. We're going to come into lizard pose. So we'll come into table. We'll step the left foot to the outside of your hand and drop your hips. And then you're going to roll onto the outside of that foot. Now you can turn this into a twist, if I can remember how to do it. We're going to drop that hip. So instead of having the top of your back foot onto the floor, you're rolling over onto the side of that foot a little bit. This is a little challenging, but if you like, you can turn into a twist. We're still pressing into the outside of the foot and opening up into a twist here. It's a bit of a challenge. You want to stay in the first variation, please do that. And keep opening the knee out more, opening the hip crease. Starts to feel good if you breathe into it long enough. And let's come back, foot on the floor, hips parallel to the floor. And press back into child. Ooh, that was intense, but it was fun, wasn't it? Let's inhale back up. We'll bring the right foot to the outside. Bring the hand to the knee and roll onto the outside of that foot. You can stay here. This is the first level. Or you can roll from the back foot, rolling onto the side of the foot as you drop your hip, turning towards your knee. Who calls this a twist? I don't think this is a twist. Anyway, whatever you want to call it. We're dropping the opposite hip, opening the knee a little more if you like, and spinning up. You can stay with the first variation if this is too intense. It's pretty intense in the beginning, but as you breathe into it and the hip sinks closer to the floor, it becomes really delicious. Keep reaching up even as you're pressing down. And bring the hand to the floor, bring the foot to the floor, reposition the hips facing the mat, and come back into child. Good work. That was lovely. Come on up into Thunderbolt for a minute and have your block handy. We're going to come into full pigeon. You may want to use your block for that. Okay, so again, there's lots of ways to come into pigeon. I'm not going to be fancy today. I'm just going to slide my right knee forward and move my heel out in front of my left hip. Remember, you can just sit on your heel if you need to. Or you can have your leg as close to a right angle as you can get it, and slide back, dropping your hips as far down towards the floor as you can, bringing your hands back towards your front knee. Think cobra as you stretch up, dropping the hips down and lifting the chest. Other option is to do another reclining pigeon on your back if this is too intense for you. And then we'll lengthen forward over the leg, and you can put your forehead on the block or on the floor or your arms, whatever is best for you. This is an intense stretch, so feel free to unwind and rewind as many times as you need to. Find all the interesting tight places and exhale the tension away. One more minute. And very slowly unwind out of the pose. Take all the time you need. This can be very intense. And come back into child. Taking some slow, deep breaths and noticing how your body feels. And let's do the other side. Coming back into table. Bring the left knee through and either sit on your heel or walk that heel out in front of you, moving in the direction of a right angle, but it doesn't have to be a right angle. The hips are facing square to the mat, and then you can slide back and lower your hips a little more. So we're doing a great stretch for the front of the hip socket. Walk yourself back into a lovely proud pigeon. Think cobra, shoulders down, heart forward. Deep, wonderful breaths. Look up past your eyebrows. Just feel so full and open. And then prepare to come forward. Grab your block if you need it to put under your head. You could be on your forearms with your block way up here. Or coming down as low as you need to. And again, feel free to wind in and out of this pose if it gets too intense. Keep softening into the floor. One more minute. And very slowly unwind. Take your time. And come back into child. And get what you need for Savasana. Roll over onto your back and take in the benefits of the good work you've done today.
Take all the time you need. And when you're ready, slowly bring some movement back into your body. Bring your feet flat on the floor. Roll to one side. And make your way to a seated position.
If your sciatica pain is caused by an injury or an accident, please see a medical professional. But if it's just ordinary sciatica pain caused by too much sitting, these exercises will give you the relief you're looking for. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.